forum will focus on issues such as property taxes and insurance reform, and we'll try to narrow the focus of each of these future events so as to make it more relevant and more in-depth for all of you. I want to introduce to you tonight our distinguished panelists. Here to my immediate left is Senator Ted Deutch. And to his left, physically but not politically, is Representative Adam Hasner. Jeff Perlman, left is Pam Goodman, Mr. Mike Jones. And last but not least, behind me is Mr. John Johnson. Johnston will serve as tonight's moderator, so it's with pleasure that I turn the program over to his very capable hands. Thank you.
Good evening. Those of you who filled out cards for this evening, these are, we've got a bunch of cards here tonight. Democracy is a pretty messy business, so this is not going to be a perfect event this evening, right, Bob?
Every time we discussed a new property tax relief proposal, many people ask, what does this cost government? And that's the problem, because that's the wrong question. Property tax relief doesn't cost government anything, because it's your money to begin with. And so from my perspective, it's pretty simple. Government should only spend what the people can afford. And Florida's property tax system has become unaffordable, unfair, and unsustainable. And it is now having an impact on Florida's economy and on the people of the state. So let me be clear. The only way to cut taxes is to cut taxes. And in order to do that, we must reduce government spending.
But affordability goes far beyond taxes. The affordability problem in the state includes insurance. I would respectfully suggest to most of you here that if we spend as much time working on the insurance problem as we have working on the tax problem, we'd probably be happier with the time spent. 12% increases that got us into this situation. It was 30 and 60 and 140% increases. The affordability component really will matter to a lot of people. The fact is, this is a real tax savings for people who feel like they'd like to move into a bigger home because their family's expanded. For people, seniors who would like to downsize but can't afford to. The opportunity provided by affordability will provide a significant benefit to them. But there is, I think, an imperative that we have to at least consider the impact that this is going to have. And this is the debate that's going to take place over the next couple of months. It is absolutely appropriate in any debate we have about taxes to consider the impact that it's going to have in public education. And in this debate that took place in Tallahassee, I offered an amendment that would have simply held education harmless. It would have simply assured that education didn't face cuts at all. We didn't have an opportunity to move that forward because it failed. And I hope we'll have an opportunity to discuss that issue much greater.
Representative Hasner, your question to follow up?
Just as a quick follow-up, let's just make sure that everybody understands the facts. The state of Florida has increased education spending over 50% per student in the last 6 years. We're now spending $7,500 per student. In Palm Beach County, we are spending over $3.3 billion per year. That's operation costs and construction costs in the state with 166,000 students. Again, over $7,500 per student. But it's not just how much you spend in education, it's how you spend it.
For the longest time, the approach that was taken to insurance in Tallahassee was to essentially believe that if we simply allow insurance premiums to go up and up and up and up, that at some point it would become profitable enough for new companies to come into the state. That was the approach that was taken until this year.
2004 and 2005, we had $35 billion worth of property damage in the state of Florida from those 8 hurricanes that I think everybody is in our distant memory. The past 2 years, we've had no hurricanes. That's absolutely going to be helpful as the state helps to recover in our catastrophe fund. The other thing that we need to do is to make sure that when we build new construction in the state, is that we make sure that we fortify our buildings, fortify our homes, so we can make hurricanes less expensive. By doing that, we'll be able to have lower premiums in turn. So we need that.
We want our taxes to be lower, but we want to have the kind of services that so many in this community have come to appreciate. It's a balancing act. It's a difficult balancing act. We can't go either way, 100% either way, but it's imperative to continue to have debate to recognize that the resources in this state must be used wisely, and they must be adequate to provide the kind of community and the kind of education that we want for our kids and for our
Ladies and gentlemen, we had a really diligent bell ringer. Thank you, John. Thank you for coming. Stay involved.